2018 brought us games that pushed boundaries, defied expectations, and in some cases, saved dying franchises. From AAA studio fare to independent labors of love, here are all the best games of 2018. In 2005, the original God of War was a revelation. Technically, it didn't do anything radically new, it just wove together pre-existing ideas into a package that was so vital, fresh, and epic that it felt like it came out of nowhere. It was the absolute pinnacle of the action genre, and something of a marker for the very state of video games in the mid-2000s. Fast forward 13 years, and everything old is new again. The new God of War has pulled off the same trick as its predecessor. Coming out in an era of high production values, grown-up themes, and moral complexity, God of War combines all of these elements and lifts them to new heights. And it hasn't forgotten that it's an action game either. Like the first game, it's woven together everything that the action genre has learned over the last decade into a singular, near-perfect adventure. It puts the series, once again, at the forefront of what games can aspire to be. The Far Cry franchise has always taken players off to distant, exotic, dangerous lands, and that's no different in the latest installment, which takes them to the heart of America. Far Cry 5 welcomes you to a Montana that's been overrun by a gun-toting religious cult. Your job? Arrest the cult leader. Simple, right?
God will not let you take me.
As you might expect, this one goal takes dozens of hours to accomplish over a huge map of open-world terrain, with plenty of opportunity to get distracted by side quests. But Ubisoft has been making these games for a while now, and they know how to fill that void with memorable characters, gorgeous environments, and a lot of opportunities for insane stunts. The story itself has also been opened up, allowing players to figure out their own paths in a non-linear fashion. It's more than the best game in the series, it's one of the best games of 2018. There are many Batman games, and usually their gameplay comes down to Batman punching people. That's different here. Telltale Games has made a game that's less about what Batman does and more about who Batman is. Batman: The Enemy Within is a story of a deeply broken man who just happens to be a billionaire heir with a penchant for capes. It may be the best exploration of the character ever put to pixels. Don't worry though, Batman still gets to punch people throughout the game's 5 episodes, though it's done through QuickTime events rather than a traditional combat system. At the end of the day, the focus is on Batman's relationship with those around him, juggling his guilt, morality, and sanity while still staying connected to other people in his life is perhaps the closest thing to an actual superpower that Bruce Wayne has, aside from the money anyway.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
There have been good Spider-Man games before, but none of them are on the same level as Spider-Man for PS4. It's not just the game sports the highest levels of polish that money can buy, an open-world map that's full of breathtaking views and things to do, and some of the best web-slinging ever seen in a video game. No, what makes this Spider-Man special is just how much it understands its lead character. 2018 Spider-Man isn't just a standard action game with a Marvel comic skin on top. It's a bona fide Peter Parker simulator, encouraging the player to think like the hero in ways other games haven't done. It doesn't hurt that the game has a better storyline than most of the Wall Crawlers movies. Peter Parker is constantly torn between his crime-fighting duties and his personal life, and Insomniac's writers found ways to reconfigure and streamline Spider-Man's lore in ways that should delight newcomers and faithful fans alike. It's not a perfect game, of course. Those Miles and Mary Jane stealth stages are a real drag. But the game as a whole gets Spider-Man right, and that counts for a lot. The first few hours of Red Dead Redemption 2 seems designed to drive you crazy. The game's controls are clunky and dated, its missions offer the impression of meaningful choice, but then force you down a linear, predetermined path. Also, it's really slow. It becomes clear pretty quickly, Grand Theft Auto with horses, this is not. But while it may take a few missions to grow on you, it's worth doing the work to get on the game's level. Once it opens up, Red Dead Redemption 2 reveals the most diverse and interesting cast of characters that Rockstar has ever assembled. The game's landscapes are stunning, and its mysteries are plentiful and compelling. Hop on your horse and ride in any direction for long enough, and you're guaranteed to find something cool, interesting, or unexpected to go and tell your friends about. Rockstar's open-world formula is starting to show its age, but don't take that to mean that it doesn't work anymore. Once you embrace the game's deliberate pace, Arthur Morgan's adventure proves to be just as compelling as the landmark titles that came before it.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate lives up to its title as the be-all, end-all of the Smash Bros. Series. Its deep roster of fighters include every character in the series' history, and it introduces a handful of newcomers like Castlevania's Simon Belmont and the arch-nemesis of Donkey Kong, King K. Rool. It has more than 100 stages and over 1,000 different unlockable things for completionists to collect. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is about more than just the numbers. Not only is Smash's core gameplay still just as fun as it was back in 1999, this installment gives you and your friends so many different ways to mix things up. If you enjoy single-player adventures, check out the World of Light campaign. Chaotic 8-player battles are great for parties, the Spirit Board is catnip for collectible fiends, and a tag team like Squad Strikes lead to all kinds of interesting and unexpected matchups. Really, the only bummer about Smash Bros. Ultimate is its iffy online infrastructure, which Nintendo still hasn't managed to get completely right. Otherwise, it's all here. It doesn't matter if you're a tournament pro or you just like the fan service, Ultimate is for everyone, no matter who you are. Street Fighter is one of the most profitable series of arcade games ever produced, and also among the most influential franchises in video game history. If you've ever enjoyed Mortal Kombat, Tekken, or any other fighting game, you've got Street Fighter to thank.
You have made me a happy man.
With the 30th anniversary collection, Capcom pays tribute to its blockbuster franchise with a compilation that includes 12 different Street Fighter games, including both the bare-bones original and the series' most influential entry, Street Fighter II. These aren't the watered-down console versions either. The 30th anniversary collection is all arcade ports, meaning that you're getting the best versions of each game, all in the same package. Naturally, all of the games in the collection support local multiplayer, and 4 of the best ones come with full online support too. If that's not enough, the disc is also packed with concept art, development info, and much more. It's a lot for a casual gamer who might not need 5 different editions of Street Fighter 2, but this is a collection for Street Fighter diehards, lovingly assembled for a series that deserves it. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, players finally get to see Lara Croft become the hero we all fell for back in 1996. Wait, wasn't that what 2013's Tomb Raider was supposed to do? Or its sequel, Rise of the Tomb Raider?
I hate tombs.
Yeah, forget those. This time the developers mean it. Shadow is the final entry in the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy. By the end of the game, Lara's origin story is complete. In terms of gameplay, Shadow of the Tomb Raider sticks pretty faithfully to the foundation established by its 2 predecessors, which works wonderfully because those games are really good. Shadow also gives you more tombs to raid than ever, and thanks to the new puzzle-specific difficulty modes, exploring can feel more like a real adventure and less like, well, a video game. But it's the game's story that takes some real risks. Instead of ignoring the ugly optics of a posh English girl invading other cultures, killing loads of people, and stealing their stuff, Shadow of the Tomb Raider tackles colonialistic themes head-on. It doesn't always work, but boy is it gutsy. That aspect alone makes it an experience worth your time. You might have heard that Black Ops 4 is the first entry in the Call of Duty franchise without a single-player campaign. Well, here's the thing, it doesn't need one. Spend enough time with the game's diverse multiplayer options, and you won't miss a dedicated story mode at all. Adios campaign mode, press F to pay respects. It's not that the game doesn't have a plot. This time around, the stories are woven into the game's multiplayer components. If you want a narrative, Black Ops 4's cooperative zombie mode has several of them. Before you dive into the game's competitive multiplayer, you can delve into the solo missions, which teach you how to play various specialists while fleshing out their backstories. And then there's Blackout, the game's take on the Battle Royale genre. Blackout could have easily been a quick, dirty cash-in. Instead, it's a thoughtful and addictive take on 2018's hottest genre, opening up a whole new frontier for the franchise going forward. While ignoring tradition and trying something new hasn't always worked out for the series, Black Ops 4 proves that sometimes change can be a good thing. The 2-part Mega Man X Legacy Collection brings together some of the best action platformers ever made, and fills up the rest of the space with extras that are bound to delight the series' hardcore fans. It doesn't hurt that the Mega Man X games still hold up, especially games 1 through 4. As in the regular Mega Man entries, players take the Blue Bomber on a path of their choosing to fight the game's evil mavericks, exploiting their weaknesses in order to proceed. This isn't your old man's Mega Man though. Mega Man X can cling to walls and dash past obstacles, while his buddy Zero wields a laser sword. On top of perfectly porting the original games, the Mega Man X Legacy Collection comes with a bunch of fun bonus features too, including old trailers, animated shorts, art galleries, and some new game modes that keep things fresh. The original Monster Hunter from 2004 is a sort of Pokémon for adults, in which players must track down large, powerful creatures and capture them. The action RPG spawned an entire franchise, but for whatever reason, the series was more of an underground phenomenon outside of Japan. For the series' new installment in 2018, Capcom stumbled onto the idea that they thought it might be more interesting for Western gamers taking the series open world. But the new direction wasn't just a marketing ploy. Monster Hunter World proved itself to be a winning introduction to the franchise, earning untold numbers of new fans as it became the fastest-selling game in Capcom's history. The commercial success was no fluke. World takes everything that makes the Monster Hunter series great and updates it, with top-notch visuals, a massive space to play in, and hundreds of hours of content. Now the whole planet knows the name of the game. There are more great games that came out over the year than we have time to talk about. Other fantastic games from 2018 include Celeste, Shadow of the Colossus, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, Yakuza 6 The Song of Life, MLB The Show 18, Dark Souls Remastered, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, Octopath Traveler, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Yakuza Kiwami 2, World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, Dragon Quest XI, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Forza Horizon 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales, Soul Calibur 6, Tetris Effect, and Hitman 2. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SVG videos about your favorite games are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.